Hey, this is Danny from Scare Talk. Before we get into all the horror greatness, I gotta let you know about Anchor. Anchor is the host site that we use to record our podcast. Anchor will upload your podcast to Apple and Spotify and many other listening platforms. Anchor is completely free, and you can download the app or go to the website, anchor.fm, and you can record straight on there. There's also some cool editing tools that you can use. Did I mention that it's free? Yeah, so if you want to make a podcast, Anchor is the way to go. Go check it out. Now, for the spooky stuff.
Welcome to Scare Talk, a horror movie podcast for horror fans. This podcast will cover horror movie reviews, ratings, and rankings. Now for your hosts, Danny and Joel.
All right. This is Scare Talk. I am Danny, and I'm here today with Combat Katrina.
Okay. Hello.
No Joel today. He is taking a leave of absence for the time being. And today we are going to talk about a pretty random one called Vicious Fun from this year. It is exclusively on Shudder, and I believe it's a Shudder original. All right. Who is a part of this?
Okay. So the main actors and actresses in this movie is Evan Marsh, and you all might know him from Shazam, Workin' Moms, and Pretty Hard Cases.
All right.
And then you've got Amber Goldfarb, and she has been in Sex Life, Bad Blood, and Ransom.
Ransom?
Mm-hmm.
Like the old one?
Like from 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Mel Gibson from the 90s. Like maybe she was a kid or something in it.
No, yeah.
Oh, okay.
This one is a new one. I didn't know that there was a new one, but there is.
Okay.
And then you've got Ari Millman. He is from Canada.
Oh, all right.
And he's also been in Orphan Black,
Mm-hmm.
The Expanse, and Hudson and Rex.
All right. I've heard of Orphan Black.
Okay.
I think that's a show, I want to say. Maybe
Okay.
not, though.
It does say 2014 to 17, so
Okay.
I would say you're right.
All right. Cool.
And then we've got the director and writer, Cody Callahan.
Okay.
And he has also done Let Her Out, Antisocial, and Rock, Paper, Scissors. He was the producer of those ones.
Oh, okay. He produced those.
Yes.
Has he directed or written anything
Doesn't
else?
have him as another director of anything else. This
Okay.
is his.
I think at the end, there is, it shows a magazine that says Let Her Out on the cover.
Oh. Yes, it did on that magazine. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that was like a review of that movie. Because that's what the magazine is for, is movie reviews.
For reviewing stuff, yeah.
So, okay.
That's
cool.
a cool little sneak in.
Yeah.
And then we've got James, I'm going to try this last name, Villeneuve.
Okay.
And this and one other, the only other thing he wrote was The Ticket in 2018.
All right. Cool.
So, yeah.
All right. So this one is about Joel. He's a caustic 1980s film critic for a national horror magazine. He finds himself unwittingly trapped in a self-help group for serial killers. With no other choice, Joel attempts to blend in or risk being or becoming the next victim.
So now you all know where Joel is.
Yes. That's why he's gone. All right, so let's talk about what we liked and didn't like. So one thing I really liked was the 80s feel that it had. It had some really cool music that sounded like an 80s movie, especially a horror movie. A lot of the good, score sounded like the 80s. Mm-hmm. I also like that he was a horror critic, like us.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that the movie didn't take itself too seriously. Mm-hmm. It was just a fun-loving, maybe not loving, but it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
And I loved the feel of it. I didn't connect. I don't know that I connected 80s, but when you say that, I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Like, yeah. I loved the feel of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I liked that there was humor and this fun storyline, but it wasn't too serious of a storyline.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It wasn't like it turned into like some romantic comedy thing, you know?
Yeah. It had a good balance of like just like a lighthearted horror movie.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
With, just a bunch of blood and gore and kills and, it's hard to do. So. Yeah,
it is. And there was only one kill that really made me cringe. That I was like, ooh, that was too much for this movie, I felt like.
Okay.
Maybe not too much for the movie because it is a horror movie. But it was like, oh, wow, okay, we're in a horror movie now.
Yeah.
But then it got lighthearted again. So I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't want to spoil, so
yeah,
I won't do that. But then I also really liked the characters. Each character was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Each one had their own little personality and quirk and everything, and none of them were really over the top or annoying. Right. They were all individual characters that you could enjoy.
Yeah, yeah.
So
kind of going off of that, like I said in the description, there's like a self-help group for serial killers, and you kind of learn about each serial killer in the group. And so they're definitely characters, which is, that made it fun. The main character, I liked him.
Oh,
I liked Joel. He was really likable. He kind of plays this nerdy horror critic.
Yeah.
He's I don't know, he's works for a magazine. He's like wearing the magazine shirt. And he just, I don't know, he kind of looks like a geeky guy and gets caught up into this crazy night. And I like movies that take place over like one night.
Yeah. Well, and they did such a good job at still like getting you to know his personality right at the beginning, where he had that first interaction. And it was like, you really got just really surrounded with who he was.
Right away.
Yeah. And he was just a likable guy, even though he was kind of like just a dork and like,
and he had these like little one-liners, here and there where he'd kind of like talk under his breath or, things like that kind of showed his personality. And just, the movie had good acting. I mean, I don't think anybody really,
good. Yeah.
Did anything wrong as far as acting goes. So I like the acting.
Some things that were fun and also could be seen as maybe a negative, like by people who don't enjoy this.
Yeah.
Is like the kills were, some of them, it was like, you could tell it was like so fake, know? Yeah. Like one of them, it looked like he stabbed him right through like a sheet. Like it was just like the body didn't like turned into just flat. it was kind of like
just went through.
Yeah, kind of like in like Psycho when he like when the hand gets cut off and it's like this like mannequin that flies down. It's like over the top fun.
Yeah. And that's the point. So if you don't like that kind of thing, then you might, this is just not a movie for you if you're going to take it seriously.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's meant to just have fun. And I feel like the whole 80s throwback feel is kind of becoming pretty popular.
I think ever since Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things kind of set that off, and now I feel like that's like a thing.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it. And this one did a good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like a couple of songs thrown in there.
Well, and it wasn't too much like songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just recently watched Fear Street.
Yeah.
And at some points it was like, okay, you're just throwing a song for us to just have a good time with 90s songs.
And that's how you'll know that that's the decade that they're trying to, portray.
Yeah, and it just seemed like it was like, okay, we might be losing them. Let's throw a good 90s hit in.
Right. So, and I like it was funny. There was just some funny lines in it, funny back and forth with like the main character and then, the girl that he teams up with, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Their relationship was funny. The Bob, he was funny. He was over the top.
Yeah, I really liked Bob.
He was funny. And I'm going to say one line that I liked the most. It's when Joel says, like, that's a fake mustache. And the other cops are like, don't you ever talk about another man's mustache.
Yeah.
And they're getting all upset because it's like the 80s and they all have mustaches. And it was just pretty funny. He was like going to pull his gun on him and everything.
Yeah. He was that really cop offended. Was really funny too.
Yeah. He was really offended by that.
Yeah.
Remark about mustaches.
Well, and I don't know if I said like how much I really like the originality of this kind of idea of this kind of story, like a support group for serial killers.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. And the whole setup is good. Like it keeps you interested all the way up through the whole movie. And the setup on how he ends up there is cool. It builds his character, builds the story, and then he ends up in this predicament.
Yeah.
And so
and cool. There was, like I said, one extreme kill that I was like, okay, great, now here we go into a horror movie.
Yeah.
But then there were also some like really clever unique kills.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, never seen that one before.
Yeah.
So
I made that comment when we were watching.
Yeah, and I thought about it with another one too.
Oh, okay.
We don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
So
is there anything that you would change or do differently or add or anything that you would take out?
The only person that I wasn't a big like fan of or wasn't very enjoyable was the roommate.
Okay. She was kind of whatever.
Yeah, and even like because it's inevitable for a horror movie at least once that I'm yelling at them like, just go! Yeah. And she added that to it. So it was like, okay, here we go. The dumb girl in the horror movie that... Yeah.
And she heard that one little noise.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Yeah. So it was like...
stuff.
Yeah.
She was a part of that.
And I feel like it's partly, because it's cliche, they throw it in, and that's kind of what he even talked about in the beginning of the movie.
He's critiquing a movie and saying all the cliches of horror.
Yeah. And so it was like, okay, they had to throw that in.
Yeah.
But that was, I wasn't a big fan of her.
Right.
But
good thing she wasn't in the movie too much.
Yeah, it was nice that she wasn't. I don't know that I would change anything else.
Okay. So for me, while I did like the killers, I feel like they could have... A couple of them could have been better. Like Hideo, I feel like he could have been better. He wasn't in the movie
chef?
that much. Yeah.
I was thinking the first guy that got killed could have been in longer. He was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But because I know him. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but I mean that's about it. The killers were kind of like there's one guy who's like the typical slasher killer. Mm-hmm. Like the big guy with the machete and so I was thinking they were going to kind of play off of that with some of the other people, like kind of have them be like another horror character.
The horror characters,
yeah. But I mean there was a clown.
Yeah.
So I feel like they kind of tried, but then I feel like it could have been done a little better.
I liked the clown's background story.
Yeah.
Like his story of who he is.
Yeah.
And I like that that they did explain like a story of who each of them are.
Right. Just like a brief little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really appreciated that the clown wasn't too extreme as a clown.
Too clowny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did watch the trailer of this, and so I looked at the description, thought, oh, this is a cool premise. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, I don't know, looks kind of weird. So the trailer kind of turned me off, but the premise was good, and then I saw some reviews, and it was supposed to be fun, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I'm glad I did, because it was fun, and it was much better than the trailer made it seem.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you did too, because I kind of need these breaks with these like fun horror movies.
Yeah.
And this is one that I feel like I could do. This is one that I could add to every Halloween.
Right. Yeah. I could see this being a Halloween type movie, Halloween season at least.
Yeah. Yeah. You have your Halloween movies that you like to watch that are okay. And this is one that I could be like, okay, I'll throw this one on.
Okay. Cool.
This
I'll remind you of that.
Little Monsters.
Okay, so you ready to grade it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty thrilled with this movie. So
okay.
I think that I am going to have to grade this 94.
Nice. Wow, you really liked it.
I really did.
Yeah.
It was fun. Cool. I would watch it again tonight.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I did just watch it a couple days ago and then now, so.
You watched it before me?
Yeah. I told you.
You know. Yeah. We were supposed to watch something neither of us had watched.
Well, we did that before. Or no, we didn't.
No.
Yeah, we did with
no.
Polaroid. That was the night
oh gosh.
we did that.
Don't bother with that one, guys.
So yeah, I had just seen this one.
Wow.
I watched it again. So.
Wow, I'm offended.
I'm going 86.
Oh my goodness gracious! What happened? Probably because you've seen it too many times.
Well, now I've seen it twice, and so
the end 3 times because I fell asleep.
Yeah. So I saw the end 3 times. And it's really good. I mean, 86 is a good score.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a good score. I've been like trying to stay away from the 90s, unless it's like. Because I feel like I could rate a lot of things 90s because I like a lot of horror movies. Yeah,
so what does a horror movie have to do to get into the 90s?
So a lot of times, like, it has to be scary. Like, there has to be some sort of scare factor,
Okay.
This one is fun. It's fun and has, like, a lot of stuff that I like. But because it's a horror movie, I have to reserve the 90s and, like, the great ones for the ones that are...
The great ones.
That are like, 90s would mean that it's great. For like ones that are actually scary.
Okay.
So. Yeah,
I prefer not being so scared.
Yeah. So.
I like the funny.
Yeah. Like this is good. I mean, it's about as good as it can be for like a horror comedy, which is what I would say this is.
Oh yeah.
So. It'll be in my top 10 for the year, probably.
Good.
I would imagine. And we're halfway through the year, and I don't know that I've rated... I think this might be the highest one I've rated so far this year.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I haven't done many this year. I really fell off. I did do Spiral. And we got one more that I'll be coming through. Joel's taking a leave of absence, so you'll hear a little bit more of me, guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Come back, Katrina.
Okay, so we have some other movies coming up. We're going to try and do some summer movies. So something like I Know What You Did Last Summer. You might be doing that. Summer of '84.
I haven't seen that.
You have.
Oh, I have seen that, guys.
So some of that, there's a I Know What You Did Last Summer series coming to Amazon this Halloween. So we'll probably do some of the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. There's 3 of those. So might do some of those.
I'm a fan of those.
We have Don't Breathe 2 coming out. We have Candyman. So we have that's just for August. So there you go.
All right.
You can look forward to those. Okay. Well, this has been our episode on Vicious Fun from 2021.
Don't. Sleep tight.
Don't let Joel bite.
Oh.